What is up, everybody? Life's Apprentice. Today we're going to be doing another little side hustle I have planned and I've been kind of looking forward to and wanting to do for several years. And it's really not applicable to anything else that I've really talked about before. Today we're going to be planting Christmas trees. Now, the reason for that, there's multiple reasons. If you guys have ever, specifically we're going to be planting Fraser firs. If you guys have ever gone out and bought a 6 or 8 foot Fraser fir, you know that they're worth about their weight in gold. So that's what we're going to be planting today. But like I said, there's several reasons for it. One is potential income, which we don't know that it's going to work, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's going to take several years. The other reason is on our property here at home, we have about 6 acres, and the majority of it is pasture. We do have a lot of deer and turkey around, but they don't really hang out on our land just because it's wide open. So they spend their time here at night and, random times. So we're hoping by planting these trees, once they get a little bit bigger, we're going to create some bedding habitat and just some, a little bit thicker habitat for those animals that they may come in here during daylight. We're surrounded by agriculture and basically on one side of our property is a giant lake, and on the other 3 sides is all agriculture and woods. So there's a lot of animals in the area. There's just no reason for them to be on our land because it's wide open. So first thing we did, we picked out a spot that is an area that we really don't use. We don't utilize it for really anything. So we're not putting it in an area that we're going to regret in the future, because these trees take anywhere from 5 to 10 years to get to Christmas tree height. And even if they aren't perfect Christmas trees, once they get that height, we're going to get rid of them. This may work, this may not. But we got 200 Christmas trees, Fraser firs. I believe they're like a 2-year-old tree. They come in a box, we'll show you here in a little bit, and they're soilless. So it's just the roots and the tree. We got 200 of them for like $240. We planted, I'm not even sure exactly how many we planted, but at our land we planted at least 100, and that was the main reason for getting the trees. Out there it's more of a habitat thing and trying to funnel deer in a certain area, but here we're trying it. Maybe it works for habitat, maybe it works for Christmas trees, or if we get the best of both worlds, it works for both. So the first thing Chelsea did here behind us is we just cut with a 0-turn lawnmower strips. You can see that there's a strip here that's 48, or how wide is that thing? 52? 48 or 52 inch wide lawnmower, and we have a strip here, and then she left like a 40-inch strip that's long and another strip. So we're going to plant in the middle. That's going to give us about 6 to 8 feet separation between the trees, and then I'm going to plant them fairly close. I'm going to plant them like 4 or 5 feet apart, assuming deer and rabbits, and some of them are going to die, but deer and rabbits are going to munch on them and stuff like that. So we're going to plant them closer together within the row than is recommended, assuming that some are going to die or we're going to end up culling some out. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 10 rows that we're going to plant here, or until we're out of Christmas trees. But that's the plan. We're going to get to it. And if you figure this out, and we do 100 Christmas trees at $40 or $50 a piece, granted it's going to take some time, but it's really just a passive way to make income. But 100 trees at $40 a tree or $30 a tree, that's, I don't know, you guys can do the math. $3,000, $5,000, depends on how much we sell them for. But basically, really all we have to do is plant them, and then we're going to have to maintain the grass around them so that they don't get drowned out for the first year or two. And once they get bigger than the grass, then basically just kind of let them go. But this is something that we mow every year anyways, so it's really not adding any time to land maintenance. So hopefully this works. We won't know for a few years, but we're going to get to planting and show you how we do it. It's very simple. right, so here is our Fraser firs, and these are, what do they call these? They're just bare root plant.
Or seedlings.
Yeah, seedlings. You can see based on my hand, they're about 12 inches tall and have a nice root base down here. And when we're planting them, point the camera over here. When we're planting them, this is just a planting shovel, or what I call it. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a tall, narrow shovel. And we're just gonna take and just jump in, I don't know, 8-10 inches. We're just gonna wiggle it back and forth until we have a nice opening right here. Oh, it's very wet out here right now. But we have a nice opening here, and it's nice and sticky.
Yay.
It's a little different than planting in the sand.
Yeah, that was
where
nice.
We were at our land. So you can leave the shovel in. I'm gonna leave the shovel in because when I pull it out, the mud sticks and kind of closes the hole. We're just gonna try to get these roots down in there as best we can. We're not going for absolute perfection here. We are trying. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Way harder than in the sand. And we're just gonna stomp it in like that. And we're just gonna go down the row, and we're gonna do every 3 feet, maybe 4 feet. I'm not getting super scientific with it. I'm just gonna plant a whole bunch of them, hope they grow. See, we're just opening up this hole, and Chelsea's gonna stick the roots in there, and then I'm just gonna step on it with my foot, try to close the hole. You don't want these roots to get air because they'll actually kill the roots. You want to try to make sure that it is closed. And obviously you want to do this in the spring or fall, and ideally when these trees go in the spring especially, you're going to want them to be moist. You're going to want them to definitely have some moisture. This ground is really wet right now, almost too wet, so these things have plenty of water. Once you get into a rhythm, you can do a lot of trees. I mean, it only takes us maybe a minute per tree. We got one row here with like 10, a row here with like 10, and then these go to 12 and 13, and we got to this row over here. This was our last row, but we got a full row in here. Oh no, it wasn't. This is our last row right here. So we still have room for a few more rows. We weren't sure how many we had because we planted some at our other land, and we never counted them really, so we just knew that we had some left and I wanted to plant some here. But we counted and it was 75 exactly. So our intention is to see how this works for a year or two. We're assuming that, I mean, some of these are most definitely going to die. Some of these trees are most definitely going to die, but our goal is here and at our other land, you know, every year or every other year to plant another succession. That way we constantly have some that are mature. Once these ones get mature, we'll have a year or two behind them. That way we can have trees hopefully every year. So I mean, it's just a good way for passive income. We are going to have to do a little trimming around these trees. Like I said, once they get taller than the grass, then we should be good because the grass only gets so tall out here, and we can cut around them. And then once they get a lot bigger, early in the spring, when they start putting on new growth and stuff like that, they will need to be trimmed. But that's not until they're probably 4 or 5 years in the ground, and that's how you get the perfect shaped Christmas trees. is you trim them, and then the new growth fills in and fills out the tree. Now, this is kind of an experiment. This completely different soil than what we planted in by our land. That's a lot more sandy out there, and in our area, that's where all the Christmas trees farms are. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here compared to there, how fast they grow. I have a feeling they'll grow faster here, but I don't know that they will grow as nicely here as there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of land. The 75 trees we just planted is in maybe a 50 by 50 foot area. So even if you have a decent sized yard, you could do this in, I mean, this is probably, I don't even know, a 15th of an acre or a 10th of an acre. It's a very, very small spot to start out. Now we'll start adding more in the following years, and hopefully these guys make it and grow good. So I don't know, let me know how you like that video. If you did like it, hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have any experience or have ever tried anything like this, and subscribe if you haven't. That's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.